Welcome to Beaufort, a historic town on North Carolina's coast. It's the fourth oldest town in North Carolina, and the population's only a little over 4,000 people. It's one of those places that everyone knows everyone, and it has a robust culture for such a small town. We love North Carolina, and we're always looking for that perfect small town that we might want to call home one day. The reason I dig out the intricate details of these towns is because I'm really kind of like you guys. I'm constantly on the search for that one place that'll be the perfect place to live. Honestly, that's how I got into the real estate business to begin with. I was always looking for that perfect place that I knew I would feel at home, so I decided to help other people do that as well. And it may be that I have too much wanderlust in me for any one place to really fill that need, but I'll probably always be looking for it. This is the coolest little town ever. It's absolutely adorable, and it feels like stepping out of a history book. I just love it. I just love it. All the boats and all the cool little shops. I mean, every shop is like interesting and unique. I don't like nature. I like nature. I like nature in Cary. You know, greenways that have already been paved and you get to be around trees, and I love beauty. I love the beauty of the outdoors, but I don't like the discomfort of the outdoors. So we're going to spend a lot of time this year doing uncomfortable outdoor things. Wild horses is definitely an uncomfortable outdoor thing for me. I mean, they're really beautiful, but you know, it's a wild animal. Who knows what it's going to do? If we find them, I'll get the opportunity to confront one of my fears head on. If not, that challenge will be saved for another day. I plan to do a tour with a professional person who knows where these horses are and doesn't have to go hunting for them. But now we're here. If you want to know how I got here without a guide, we got to go back to the beginning of the week.
All right, let's hear it.
So they told me on Friday that they don't actually schedule the trips online during this time of year because they don't always have enough people to actually do a full trip. So if they don't have enough people to do a full tour where the tour guide actually takes you, we have to do it ourselves. The ferry still runs, but
that'd be more fun anyway.
No, it wouldn't be more fun. It'd be less fun, and I don't.
It'd be a lot more fun.
But how do we know where the horses? They know where the horses hang out, so we could just tromp all over a damn island and not find any horses.
It'd be a wonderful afternoon. All right,
okay.
give him a call.
All right, I'm gonna call him. I talked to you last week, and you said to give a call back at the beginning of the week to see if you were going to have any tours running this weekend on Saturday. Okay, so you would just drop us off then, like the ferry would drop us off and then come back 2 hours later? Alrighty, we'll see you on Saturday.
We gotta hunt them down ourselves.
We gotta hunt them down ourselves. So I wasn't too happy at the prospect of looking for the horses myself, but when we got to Beaufort, it was so quaint and homey feeling that I didn't mind the threat of rain on top of traipsing over the island by myself.
Excited?
Yeah. I want to see the dolphins though. I hope we get to see them again.
We got to maintain a 50-foot distance from the horses. That's a little longer than the length of this boat. The horses don't know this rule, however, because signs are in English and they speak Spanish. So they might come up to you. If they do, keep your hands at your side and back away slowly. Don't try to reach out to pet them, feed them, ride them. They're not there to be your friend. They do kick and they do bite, and it is a felony to harass the horses.
What he meant by the horses speaking Spanish is that no one really knows how the horses got to Shackleford Banks. The commonly accepted story is that hundreds of years ago, a Spanish galleon was wrecked off the coast and the Mustangs swam to safety and decided to call the island their home. The rain began to move in as we headed out to the island and the water got pretty choppy, but my coastie daughter and son-in-law would not have considered this choppy water at all.
See, I told y'all there was a tree line over here. Be there about 5 minutes before your scheduled pickup time.
That ride wasn't so bad. Being on the coast, but not really a beach town, sailboats dominate the picturesque downtown. So obviously people who live here spend a lot of time on the water, whether for their livelihood or for recreation. The outdoors is big in Beaufort. If you're not boating, people can be found fishing in the many inlets and piers. Bicycling is also a popular activity, but living in Beaufort really means getting involved in just being a part of the town.
You can come to this area and you can be as involved or uninvolved as you want to be. Authors that come that don't want to be,
Right.
yeah, they want their peace and solitude. We have artists, just a very eclectic mix of people. But we have the Beaufort Historic Site. You can get involved there. The Maritime Museum, the Beaufort Business Association.
So lots of volunteer opportunities.
Yes, lots of volunteer opportunities.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not surprising that the largest retailer of kites in the United States is located right here in Beaufort. After all, the coast of North Carolina is known for its beautiful breezes, and it's where the Wright brothers took their first flight. Multiple people that I spoke with wanted to tell me how wonderful the schools are here in Beaufort. Wake County, North Carolina's capital county, is known for having some of the best schools in the state. Often, small towns don't have the resources to compete with what's available in the larger cities, but Carteret County makes it happen with school rankings that rival Wake. Beaufort is an absolute blast when it comes to events, and you definitely don't want to miss the pirate invasion, where pirates take over the town and then have a great big pirate party. Other fantastic events are the Beaufort Music Festival, the Wooden Boat Show, the annual fishing tournament, and the Wine and Food Festival, and the Beaufort Art Walk and Candlelight Christmas Tour that was going on while we were there.
That's right. So it's 7 homes, 7 privately owned homes,
Okay.
and then of course the churches and the inns that are around town. And the churches will be having entertainment between the hours of 5 and 7, and then the inns will probably have refreshments available.
But he just gave us a dot on the map and said, go that way. Where'd those horsemen go? And they're baby horse prints, or these are little horses. Or maybe they just don't have a very good diet out here on these dunes. It's horse poop. There's a lot of horse poop. They've been hanging around here. Ooh, that's a lot of horse poop. Is that a horse? Is that a horse? Oh, I smell horses. That's fresh.
What?
I said I don't want to go where the fresh poop is because I'm afraid of wild horses.
But we're out here to actually find the wild horses.
Yeah, but now I'm nervous that we are going to find them. Sometimes we can figure out where these fears came from, and sometimes we just don't know.
Something comes up, yodel. Be right back.
For me, when I was a kid in 5th grade, I had a friend who had a horse, and one day this horse trapped us in the barn and wouldn't let us out.
Right?
I'm officially not. I'm not.
What?
They're going to have to come out on the beach eventually. This horse had been really spoiled when it was young, and they would allow it to jump up on them for treats and things like that, and those kind of manners didn't really age well as the horse got older. So anyway, so that day we were trapped in the barn, and my friend had to get a riding crop and really beat the horse to try and make it get off of us. And it's really stuck with me, and so I've always had this really strange fear of horses in particular, but just all large wild animals that I don't know. It's 11 o'clock. We have to be back at the boat. I'm not missing the boat. Oh, let's get to the hot top of this hill. Maybe we'll be able to see them. How long is this island?
9 miles.
Oh, there's a horse. There is a horse, a real live horse.
And that's the thing about a small town. It reminds people of what's important, because we don't have glitz and glamour and malls and restaurants and all the fancy stuff. So this sort of goes back to the basics of walking around with your family, shopping in little locally owned stores,
Right.
watching a parade, donating a bike.
This is our 8th annual Race to the North Pole. We do this every year to get bikes donated for Toys for Tots. And part of it is racing. Frank Sherman, and he is last year's winner. Yeah.
I do this back home when I was in the civilian world with our church. So to be here now serving this country and serving here to do both, serve the community, serve the country, it's just amazing to see this, how the community comes together and gathers all these donations to give to others.
These trikes here, and we actually have adults racing on these trikes, and the race starts at 10 o'clock.
On the ferry.
Now, I was content with my distant sighting of a horse, but Timothy wasn't, and while I sat down to have some lunch on the beach, he headed off into the island interior to find some more horses. And to get closer, but not too close, zoom lenses are wonderful things. Just in case you're wondering, yes, you can camp on Shackleford Banks.
There you go. Yeah. Woo! There is activity here all the time. For instance, tonight there's a candlelight tour, open house.
Yeah, we're going to be here for it.
Yes,
yeah.
good. But there's something like that going on all the time.
I've lived in small towns my whole life, and I'm from the West Coast, and I've never lived in a town above 10,000 people. And that's why I do it. I've raised 2 generations of kids by myself in small towns, and choose to do it, because it's safe, it's happy, it keeps what's important. The thing about a small town is you have to get a mindset to understand, to slow, not just your life, but how you think, and appreciate those small moments. Otherwise, you shouldn't move to a small town, because moving to a small town and then demanding that you have all the amenities of a big city really kind of bother those of us in our small towns, because we don't want all of that.
Right.
That's what the cities are for. That's what, when we go out, on our journeys to hunt and gather, when we have to eventually get to a big store to get socks, that's why, because there's a place for a big city, and then there's a need for this kind of a place, a small town.
Right.
It is astonishing how many fantastic restaurants there are to enjoy in a town of 4,000 people. It really is only possible because so many people visit Beaufort from all over, but it makes living here extra special because the locals get to enjoy all that variety that you wouldn't find if it were just the townspeople supporting it.
Would you move here?
I would buy a house here, for sure. I wouldn't probably live here year-round, but I would buy a house here.
Beaufort is the kind of place you could imagine visiting and deciding to never leave, but it also might just be too small for some people who really just need a Target nearby. The closest thing they've got here is a Rose's, which is kind of like an off-brand Target, like those Rose Art crayons you remember from elementary school. There's nothing quite like a Crayola or a real Target. Beaufort would definitely make a great place to buy a vacation home or another type of investment property. The median home price in Beaufort is $317,000, and it's risen almost 25% over the last year. For that median price, you're not going to get down by the water, but you can get a cute little home like this one. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and 1,650 square feet. Now, if you wanted to get closer to the water and be walkable to downtown, this lovely little cottage is just $475,000. It's nicely updated and just a half a mile to downtown. So I made it to see the horses. I think a lot of us have fears that we don't really like to confront, and it can be really challenging to stare a fear directly in the face. I got close today, and I'm kind of proud of myself for making it as far as I did. I would have liked to have gotten closer to them without having to rely on the video to see the horses, but I'm accepting who I am and I'm pushing on to become a stronger me. In 2022, I'm challenging every single fear I have. If you stick with me, you'll learn an awful lot about the beauty of North Carolina, the lovely towns that exist throughout the state, and you'll probably get a peek at many of my arguably weird little phobias. I actually know of a place in North Carolina where I can personally feed lions. If you like this video, you might also like this one about a micro town with a creepy playground and a gourmet gas station.